invite you to have an open heart and an open mind to consciously explore your own life's journey as we dive into conversations that lead to discovery, growth, healing, and expansion. I'm your host, Kristy Morrison. Welcome back. I am so excited to be here, guys. Like I said on my last podcast with Adam, I am hoping to do these more regularly. I've been having a very fun summer doing some exciting things, seeing concerts, and as you can tell, I am in a new location. So you are joining me in my cute little apartment house thingy, whatever you want to call it. And I've curated this beautiful space with everything from my heart. And I am pretty excited to be recording this episode here. So today I thought I would talk about my number one question that I get from everyone, from friends, from family, from colleagues, from strangers that overhear things. Even clients. Everyone knows I'm in real estate and I'm a holistic realtor. So I really take pride in treating my clients in an energetic manner that really assists with the process, making smooth transitions. But that's for a whole other thing. And the number one question that I get is, what is 3D? 4D, 5D, like what is it? Why are people talking about it? Like, oh, 3D world, or you're not in the 5D world. What is it? Well, it's essentially states of consciousness. 3D, 4D, 5D is a state of consciousness, and it's essentially the vibration that you're holding within you. And I'm going to actually pop up a photo. And the photo is actually pretty good at illustrating different vibrations of emotions that we all have experienced in our life at some point. Some people will stay in a vibrational state for a long time. And you can see on this chart, it starts at a 20 vibration with shame, and it goes all the way up to 700 for the vibration of enlightenment. The fluctuation within this vibrational energy chart is pretty interesting. So I don't want you guys to memorize this. This is not a massive thing to remember as we're talking about 3D versus 5D, but it is to highlight that everything does have an energetic resonance. This, even physical items. This microphone has an energetic resonance. This table has an energetic resonance. And then my lemon ginger turmeric tea has an energetic resonance. So everything here has an energetic resonance. So why wouldn't our emotions that we're feeling, why wouldn't they too have an energetic resonance? So the 3D, 5D, 4D, all this stuff, it's not like it's a place that we go to. It's not like, hey, I'm headed to the 5D realm, blah, blah, and pack up my bag, screw this 3D world. No, it's not. It is all accessible to all of us here on planet Earth. And it is how we as individuals are going to perceive this world that we're living in, which is why a lot of events, even major events, can seem so polarizing. People are viewing this from their own energetic resonance lens, their vibrational lens. So for us to all watch one thing together, be it the Olympics, be it the news, whatever it is, we are going to have a different translation or view of it through what we're holding in our energetic resonance at that moment. It's essentially how you walk through your life, and as I mentioned, they express differently for every single person. So 3D is purely the physical realm. There's a lot of separation and division. It's going to be me versus you, which I'm telling you, the government and the world out there, the powers that be, whatever you want to call it, they do such a good job at the division game. It's them causing this problem. It's this country that's doing all the problems. It's that country that's stealing all the money. It's that country. It's this person. Your neighbor is not here to help you. Be afraid. You shouldn't trust this group of ethnicity. You're better if you have more money than other people. All of it is division. 100% division. But that's the world. That's the 3D physical world that has been set up right now. It can feel like survival of the fittest. It's very rooted in how you look and how the job you have. The beauty industry thrives in the 3D world, because if you don't have the right products and you're not applying the most expensive things, well, you're not cool, you're not pretty, you'll never be loved, you're never going to hit your fullest potential. Same thing for the job that you have. Well, if you are a garbage man, you're worthless. You do absolutely nothing. But if you're a CEO, you're amazing. You have everything in the world. You have a higher job, a better job than the garbage man. That's division again. It's also lack. People also subcategorize the car that you drive, the people that you surround yourself with. They're like, well, I can't hang out with them. Like, oh no, they're below me. 3D world, gross. Ugh. Even talking about it grosses me out. It's also a place that is rooted in fear. So the fear porn that we're pushed online loves and thrives in this 3D world. It is always talking about how you're not good enough. You'll never be able to, amount to anything. Don't start a business. You're going to fail. You're ugly. You're fat. You're worthless. You're, don't put your money in this thing over here because you're going to lose it all. Don't follow your dreams because you're going to fall in it and fail. Do you see how fearful it is and how much we're told to be fearful every single day? I want you to count. If you don't believe me, I want you to count. Consciously think there. Be like, okay, how many times does someone say something fearful in your awareness every single day? Turn on the TV. Today in the news, such and such happened. Don't go outside. It's fucking raining. Who cares? You're gonna get wet. Don't do this. Don't go to this part of the town. Someone OD'd on drugs. Okay, that person OD'd on drugs. Doesn't mean you're gonna OD on drugs. There's so much fear being pushed, and the lack mindset is very much present. So, there in the 3D world, there's a finite amount of resources. Well, I have to take everything. We saw it kind of during COVID. People went hoarding toilet paper. That was fear and lack. They were afraid that we would run out of toilet paper and we'd never be able to keep up with the amount of toilet paper, and we're going to be so sick that we're just going to need an abundance of toilet paper. Well, now there's some people who have basements filled with toilet paper that they're never going to finish for their entirety of their life. It's wild. Oh my god. It's so gross talking about it. And the biggest thing is in the 3D state, there is absolutely no desire for anyone to go in within themselves, look at a deeper standpoint. And life is played out by just skimming the surface. It's very superficial. There's no deep conversations. There's no inner work being done. And they don't really have a desire to understand the deeper meaning behind things. And to interject onto this point, I would say this is probably one of the major points where my ex-husband and I, we started to divide. I've talked about my awakenings before and my great nights of the soul, or dark nights of the soul, which now I think are great. Where my dark nights of the soul really had me wondering what more there is to life. This just can't be it. And I really went on growing, deepering my questions, doing inner healing, doing the stuff that the 3D world, just if you're standing in it, you have zero desire to do. You're like, no, I'm good. And that's a part where I should probably do a podcast on the division that happened, the growth division that happened between my ex and I, on the 3D state versus a 5D state, on how we perceive this world and how we energetically are resonating with different things, and how that played out in my own life. But that'll be another podcast. So, when? I don't know, when I feel comfortable enough to talk about it. Now, obviously, between 3D and 5D, there's going to be a 4D, right? So a lot of people think that the 4D is a bridge, and I even believe that the 4D is a bridge between the 3D and the 5D, which technically it is. But essentially, a bridge means you can go back and forth. Once you hit the 5D, it's not very often you go back to the 3D realm, in my perspective, because why would you? Yes, there'll be some elements that you would have, but you're not going back to the 3D. So let's say you reach the 5D in one area of your energetic resonance, and you see yourself as one, which is one of the things I'm going to be discussing in 5D. You see yourself as one, but you have a lot of money left. Well, you are in the 3D world on the money side, but in the 5D world about humanity. So as we grow and evolve, we're essentially learning things and bringing pieces of ourselves up and up and up and up. And so once you're in a 5D state of a certain aspect of yourself, you're not going to essentially go down. When you're in the 4D and you're learning and you're like, oh, wow, okay. It's said that when you're in the 4D, you begin to awaken to the idea that there is more to life and more to meet the eye. So it's really easy to fall back into the 3D and be like, oh man, my neighbor's such an idiot. He did this. Like, what a moron. Why would he do that? And you have your judgments and things that are coming into place. So when you're in the 4D, yes, you're going to oscillate between 3D and 4D a lot. But once you've broken into the 5D, there's no point in being like, oh, my neighbor's an idiot. You just have an understanding. You're like, that's just what he does. Go Phil. In 4D, thoughts are powerful and they can start to begin to shift your reality. Duality and the idea that things are good or bad, it's still experienced, the yin and yang of life, but there's more compassion and understanding when it comes to experience these things. And in the 4D, you really do have like a strong desire to find your purpose and follow your passions. And you understand that life is meant to be enjoyed and that you're worthy to live the life of your dreams. I think that was one of the most important growth aspects is you are worthy to ask good questions, to seek more, to have more, to be more. Why wouldn't you want to be? If you are watching this and you're just like, man, my life really fucking sucks right now, you have everything within you to completely shift that. Start walking a new path. Start energetically bringing a new path forward. And in the 4D, you start to perceive the world through your sixth senses. Your intuition starts to expand. You're seeking deeper meanings, and synchronicities and magic starts to show up in this world. This is the most exciting part. I love it when someone comes up to me like, Kristy, I'm beginning to see a lot of repeating numbers. What does that mean? But I know what that means. It means you are vibrating up. You are energetically raising your vibration. Your consciousness is rising. You're beginning to see the magic within the universe. Now, through synchronicities, seeing numbers being repeated, all these things are signs of the universe being like, yes, keep going. Yes, keep going. And it does become really exciting when you have these synchronicities. And at one point, you're going to have so many synchronicities that if it stops, you're going to be like, okay, I'm checking myself. Why are the synchronicities stopping right now? I might be off my path. And then you're going to be able to easily readjust and take stock on where you are and where you need to, or where you want to start going. So 5D, guys, I'm going to take a sip of my ginger turmeric tea. Give me so good. It's fresh too. I just made it. It's not even one of those tea bags. So when you hit the 5D state of consciousness, I mentioned it's very hard to go back to the 3D because it's just an understanding. It's kind of like, when you know the sky is blue, you've seen it, you understand it's blue. You can't anymore allow anyone tell you something different. They could be like, the sky's purple, right? And you're like, okay, maybe it is to you, but I know the sky is blue. You're going to start to understand that we are all one. There's no division. Remember I said in 3D, there's a lot of division, me versus you, good versus bad. Like, we are all one. We are all connected. And this is going to be pretty controversial. So if you don't understand it, when you say we are all one, there's zero exceptions to this rule. So yes, we are all one, from the pedophile to the murderer to the rapist to the nun to the child playing to just your average elderly neighbor tending to the garden. We are all one. We are experiencing life differently. We are choosing things differently. We have a different energetic expression, a different vibrational energy that we're holding, but we're one. We are all one. We're source. We're connected. There's no difference energetically from me and the murderer up the street. None. Life in the 5D, it actually becomes a pretty big adventure. There's no such thing as good or bad. It's just, it is what it is, We understand that there's a higher purpose for all things and that every experience holds meaning. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to talk about a podcast about the separation between my spouse and I. And I have this, everything happens for a reason. I'm holding this. So from the outside, it looks like it's not affecting me. Essentially, it's not, because I have an understanding, a deeper truth to why things are happening, why things had to play out as they did. Everything had to play out as they did for me to be who I am, sitting right here as I am. Without everything before that, I wouldn't be who I am. So it really does come to a point where you just have this higher understanding of all things, which is pretty exciting, because then life becomes an adventure and you understand that all growth, there's no such thing as bad or good growth. It's just growth. It is as it is. I love it. You have strong feelings of love and connectedness with others, the planet, galaxies around us, whatever you have or believe or see or touch. You have this massive love and connection and compassion for these people. There's no judgment. You're not like, oh, they're doing this, they're wrong. Why are they doing it that way? Who cares? They're having their own experience. They're living life through their own energetic vibration, through their own lens, through their own experience, through how they came. They're a different expression of who you are. So if we, all of us, did everything the exact same way, how boring would that experience be for all of us? We would be the Stepford wives. We'd be like, meh. I don't want to do the same thing as you or my neighbor or my roomie. Like, none of them. I don't want to do anything the exact same way. So just really in the 5D, it really brings you up to a point where you just have that love and compassion and understanding, and there's no judgment. And you see that everyone is on their own journey, and you kind of love seeing that. You understand that they're on it. Everyone's an equal, of course, because we're all one. You begin to show up authentically. And by showing up authentically, you just have this light within you. You shine. People will look at you and they'll be like, what's up with them? If you're living, or you see someone living in the 3D world, they don't understand people who are authentic. And quite often they are irked by someone who is living authentically. They'll say things and try and hurt them and be like, oh, they're too loud. They're too out there. They're too crazy. They're weird. That's amazing. I actually, it used to hurt me when people were like, oh man, Kristy, you're way too loud. You need to like keep it in your indoor voice. You're too weird. Like, you say some weird shit. I'm like, yeah, that's amazing. I'm weird and I like it. I used to play it small and fit into a little box so people can like me, but then I didn't like me. So you really have to stand up in the 5D, or you don't have to. You just do it naturally. You stand up and you're just like, I am who I am. Those who love me are just going to come to me. And if you don't, you're not going to be around. That's okay. Go find the people that you energetically vibrate with. But if you are wanting more for your life, you cannot stay in the same vibrational room as those people in that state that you're wanting to be freed from by staying there. You have to leave that room. You have to go and explore. You need to do your healing. You need to expand your consciousness. You do that by asking questions. Asking questions is the number one way you're going to be able to raise your energy. Ask questions and do the work, which will be a whole entire other podcast. And in the 5D, you also understand that there's no competition. There's enough for everyone. Like, abundance is all around us. I have a method, an arigato method, and I think I got this from Jay Shetty out there. Just a spiritual dude. And if it's not, I stand corrected. I'll have to find that out. But I believe it is. And the arigato method is essentially thank you. You say thank you to your money when you spend it. You say thank you to your bills when you receive it. Thank you for this bill. Because if you thank your bills, your abundance is flowing. You're going to have more money. You have your bill and you have money to pay for that bill. Thank you. Every dollar I spend gets sent to me tenfold. I love it. There's abundance. If you are living in a lack, that's a choice. You can raise your vibration. Even money is an energetic vibration. And as this entire world works on our own energetic resonance, our job is literally to look after ourselves and tend to our own energetic resonance, and abundance will flow. And sometimes in the 5D world, I'm guilty of this. You can feel overwhelming emotion, love, compassion, for all things around us. And you will feel things so deeply. Sometimes you'll just get set off and be like, okay, I'm feeling something. And you start crying and you're like, why am I feeling this? It's because you're feeling. It could be even feeling the energy of the world. I cried a lot during COVID, and not once because I was scared for myself. Like, I cried because I was feeling the scarcity of humanity. It was wild, a wild time. But I would like to say there is absolutely nothing better or worse than 3D or 5D. If you believe that that is the angle that I'm referencing here, it's only because you're viewing it from a 3D perspective, and that's okay. It's best to take stock of where you feel you are, which allows you to expand your awareness. And I'm pretty sure if you made it this far in the podcast, you got some 5D in you. You have that curiosity. You have that desire for more. You want to know the deeper meaning of life, which is so exciting. Like, once you enter this path, so many doors open up. You meet the right people. You're in the right rooms at the right time. Abundance is flowing energetically through finances, and it's not saying, you have to be a millionaire. Everyone who's in 5D is going to be a millionaire. Some people don't want to be a millionaire because they also understand when you have millions, it comes with a different kind of life. There's also people who have millions and they choose to live in a treehouse. The 3D world has put so much emphasis in lack, fear, greed, division, that a lot of people are held there. But we're beginning to actually see people wake out of this. So when you might have heard a term called the Great Awakening, this is what's happening right now. If you're new to this and you're just checking something out like this for the first time, welcome. It's kind of exciting. I'm excited for you to be here. It once you start opening these doors of curiosity and like, what does this mean? I don't understand. Why did this happen to me when I was 2 years old? Okay, let's heal this part and then understand why this thing happened to create who I am in today. I think it happened on my last podcast, or maybe the one after with Adam. He said you cannot. I'm gonna butcher this. You cannot hate who you are today by hating, or the experiences that got you here. Like you can't hate your past experiences that got you to who you are today. You have to love every piece of it, even the ones that appear to be bad. But remember, if you're coming from a 5D consciousness, there's no good or bad. This is exciting, guys. I absolutely loved it. I hope this really added some clarity. For those of you that are interested in learning more about the 5D, this book was recommended to me from a friend, actually, Adri. And Adri was recommended by her friend, Adam. So now Adam's a friend of mine. It's kind of like full circle. So this is the book, Waking Up in 5D by Maureen St. Germain. And it is a really, you can see my highlights in here. Like, it is a good book. I absolutely love it. If you buy it and you're reading it and you're like, oh, none of this makes any freaking sense, that's okay. Read it up until you understand it. And when they lose you, put it back on the shelf. Continue on with your life, continue on with your journey, continue questioning, continue doing your healing. And then one day you're going to pick up that book again and you'll be like, oh, I understand more and more of this. It's kind of like, if you read it, you can kind of see the future in a way. You're going to see what it's like, but it's going to make no sense to you because you've never experienced it. So I highly recommend getting that book. I absolutely love it. I love reading it. I'm probably going to dive into it again. And I hope this helped answer a question of what the difference between 3D and 5D is. And maybe I've inspired some of you to kind of go down the path of evaluating the energetic resonance. So once again, thank you for joining me. If you liked this episode, give us a thumbs up, comment. I would love your comment. I would love it if you'd share a story. If this resonated with you, absolutely anything, positive vibes, and share this with your friends if it resonated so we can actually spread more insightful knowledge on this beautiful journey of life.